So my story for today, oh, Anisha, the book. My story for today is called How Was School? It is Friday morning in my practice group. We decided to work on a topic of one of the participants. Her daughter is 14. She comes home from school. Mother asks, How was school? The answer is, Okay. Then she disappears in her room. For me, this topic is very familiar. That makes it so much easier for me to put myself in the mother's shoes. And when I'm in, I feel this little ouch, a little pain in my heart region, sometimes less and sometimes more, depending on the content of my self love tank at that moment. Putting it into words, it would sound like this. I'm a little bit disappointed because I have a longing for togetherness, growing closer to each other, and sharing a moment of juicy contact. And it just doesn't happen, and it hurts somehow. I'm sad and lonely. These two feelings are on a deeper layer, and while I'm writing this down, I realize that I rarely allow myself to feel them in day to day life. That's sad, but that's another chapter. So, back to our practice group. We start with empathy for the mother. I offer her my findings. She recognizes herself in them and also wants to be involved in the world of her daughter. I offer myself for playing the role and she agrees. So, I am 14. I come home from school and encounter my mother. She asks, How was school? Okay, I answer and turn slightly. My focus goes inward. I allow my day to pass in front of my eyes. It was quite normal, as always. Many pupils, a lot of noise, especially the minors are so loud. During the lessons, sitting, trying not to stand out in a negative way, trying not to annoy the teacher, but showing up enough just to be noticed. That is important for the oral grades. Pretending to be interested, keeping all emotional impulses like frustration or anger in place, not showing that I'm bored, wrapping up all my stuff at the end of each lesson, rushing to the next classroom, queuing up for a butter pretzel at the kiosk for ages. Two teachers were testing us. This always makes me anxious. Will they pick me or not? Today was my lucky day. Some others got the full load, but they managed it pretty well. In math class, I didn't understand a single thing, as usual. This teacher is incapable of explaining anything, at least not in a way that I can understand. That's annoying, but it's business as usual. In religion class, I played poker. Some of my girlfriends thought we were getting a test today. I didn't think so, and in the end, I was right. Thank God. I barely looked at my notes in the break before. The English teacher made a joke, and only a few others and me got it. We laughed our ass off. I like English. I'm really good at it. Then I tried to organize my birthday party with my friends. I asked them what they like, but they didn't get a clear but I didn't get a clear answer. This is really annoying. On my way home, I was lucky. I managed to get a C on the bus. Well, that was it so far, my day. Nothing extraordinary, Nothing worth mentioning. Just okay. Now I'm glad that I'm home. I just want to leave all this behind. Chill, relax, and finally have some peace. Later on, I will do in my homework and practice the piano, and somewhere in between, I also want to live a little and do stuff for myself. Something beautiful that I really enjoy. I look at my mother. Oh dear, she looks tense. When she looks like that, she usually wants something from me. Then we have to talk for ages. And she tries out this NVC stuff on me again and talks about feelings and needs. And I also have to take care of that. That doesn't suit me at all. I step out of the role and stand up. I share what I just experienced in the role. We agree that a conversation at this point doesn't make any sense. Instead, we delay it until the dust settles. So I sit on the chair again and slide back into the role of the daughter. Mother says, when you come home from school, do you just want to leave everything behind you? Yes. And when you hear me asking how school was, does it annoy you? Well, it's annoying when you keep poking. If I say it was okay, it was okay. I just want you to believe me. That's all you need to know. I'll manage perfectly on my own. I'm no longer a baby. I no longer want you to interfere and go to the teacher. I'm perfectly capable of handling it myself, you know. Okay, I hear you want to take care of your school affairs yourself and that you want me to stay out of it. Yeah, that's right. It's more than enough that I get annoyed. It's really not helping if you get upset too. By doing so, you make things even worse. And when you go to the teacher, that is so embarrassing. That is like admitting I need help from my mother because I cannot handle it on my own. Do you think you can do that for me? I slip out of the role again, asking the mother how that landed for her. We discover she is now ready to redefine the relationship with her daughter. She will need a lot of trust, but she's willing to try to let go. And that is literally what she says to her daughter. Yes, I think I can do it. It makes sense to allow you your own experiences of which you can be proud of. And that my job now is to trust you. I'm willing to try it, but I cannot promise that I'll always comply. And when I catch myself as my maternal protective instinct is taken over, I want to check carefully whether I have enough trust. And if not so, I want to let you know so we can find out together what needs to be done or not. And there's one more thing I want you to know. I want you to know that I'm always there for you, whatever happens. I'm here to support you in any way. How does that sound to you? Good. I'm relieved. I think together we can manage this. You stick to your part and I stick to mine. And if one of us needs support, we will have it. That sounds so much better than mom will fix it for me. Yes, it's more on an eye to eye level than me fixing everything for you. After a little pause, mother adds, there's one more thing I want to tell you. I am still interested in you, and I still want to be involved in your daily life. I would love to know what's on your mind and what you're experiencing, even the little things that may not be so special or worth mentioning. Are you willing to share them? I'm surprised, but Mom, you don't tell me anything about you either. Wow, that is right. I just realized that I don't do it either, and I wonder why. Maybe because not so much happens in my life, only little things. Do you want to hear them? Whenever I have time, I want to. For instance, now would suit me. And the mother begins to talk about the little things she experienced that morning. How she did her colleague a little favor. All the thoughts that she had about what she was going to cook later on, and what it was like when she was shopping for the ingredients. And then that things got hectic overall because of the phone call with her friend. And in some sort of magical way, out of nothing, space appeared. Space for the little things. Nothing special or particularly exciting, but beautiful anyhow. All these little treasures that she experienced. And when the mother was finished and paused for a brief moment, the daughter took over and began to tell her story. Little treasures. And everybody in the room was bathing in an ocean of astonishment of how valuable little things can be whenever they get space. And here's an add-on from Gundi. When my daughters came home from school that day, we sat on the terrace for dinner. I shared what I experienced in the practice group that day and mentioned the magic space that appeared between us. The plates had been finished for long, and still we hadn't finished telling stories about our little things when my mother came up the stairs from the garden for a brief request. She lives on the ground floor of the same house. I invited her to join us. Usually, she doesn't stay because she doesn't want to be a burden, and then she leaves right away. At the most, she sits on the edge of the chair like this, ready to jump up instantly to disappear any given opportunity. On that day, however, she sat down with us on the whole surface of the chair, and she even leaned back. Everyone was astonished. Then she started to talk about her precious little things. And since this moment, I have been into this topic of space. Taking space, giving space, creating space, occupying space, freeing space, allowing space, granting space. It's very exciting. One minute of silence.